Hey guys, Scott Mears here, back again. Again with a great influencer here. This is Stephen Robinson. He's just done a really inspirational talk at a meetup I go to on a regular basis. I'll let you introduce yourself because I don't want to undersell your amazing story. So, do you want to just give a bit of background who you are?
Wow, to introduce myself. Well, my name's Stephen Robinson. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a one-arm pilot. I'm a dressage competitor. I buy and restore vintage jukeboxes. I'm a residential landlord. I make digital jukeboxes as well as restore the vintage stuff. I've said that, I think, already. What else? Wow. I do so many things. But I like doing things. Yeah. You know, I don't want to be quiet. I want to be busy all the time. It's just... and, you know, somebody said to me a long time ago that if you want to be a millionaire, you've got to have multiple streams of income. So that means if you're just getting one job and one income from one job, then you're going to be totally dependent on that job. If it goes totally wrong, then you know the source of income. So, you know, my one advice is have multiple streams of income.
That's a fantastic point. And I mean, what an amazing, just all those achievements. It is really amazing. And just even that little bit just will show them how inspirational you are and amazing how you've achieved so much in your life. So, I'm going to start with sort of some basic questions with, I know what people will be interested in, then I'm going to get a bit deeper into So, as more of a sort of general question is, what advice would you give to build confidence? How would you say for someone to build their confidence?
Okay, well, confidence is a strange concept, and confidence doesn't really exist. It's quite weird because all confidence is knowing how to do something. You know, so for example, if you don't know how to drive a car, you've got no confidence because you don't know how to drive a car. You drive it every day for 10 years. It's natural. You're a super duper confident driver. So my advice to people that want to be confident, do the things that you're not confident at doing. And the more you do them, the easier they become, and then you'll be confident at the things that you know how to do.
I love that.
It's so true. It's so true. That, you know, somebody actually said to me a long time ago, I was afraid of doing something. In actual fact, I'll let you into a secret. I was afraid of asking women for the telephone numbers. So this friend of mine was a psychotherapist, and he said to me, every woman you meet, I want you to ask her for a telephone number. So I did. And I had a mobile phone full of women's telephone numbers, but I didn't do anything about it because I was one step further that I really didn't want to go. But the sort of like what I'm getting at here is that the first time I asked for a telephone number, it was really hard, and I totally wasn't confident. I went in and I said, "Can I have your telephone number?" And they said, "No, you can't." But then after I'd asked for a while, I didn't really have that attitude. I went in now confident, saying to the women, "Oh, yeah, you're nice, give me your number." And they'd give me the telephone number. And it really, because that appeared that I was confident. In actual fact, I wasn't really, but I was just used to doing it. And it became so easy and second nature that I exuded confidence. That's same as everything, absolutely everything. But that's just a silly little example. But everything is the same way. You approach everything like that, then you'll have confidence in everything.
Wow. No, that is a great example as well. And I think another great aspect when you actually build confidence, then you exude it.
Yeah.
And then even like when you said you go into tasks when you know you don't know less, but when you have that confident spirit, people just trust you more, and it helps with you moving forward with relationships and so forth. So that really is some powerful stuff. Moving on to our second question, this gets a bit deeper, and we're going to roll more into what your story, but we're going to go into how would you say to deal with failure, and because obviously failure can be such a big issue.
No, failure doesn't exist. Failure just doesn't exist. It's an imaginary concept. Is failure? Interesting. It's what other people tell you when you failed. Honestly, failure doesn't exist. And I'll give you an example that. If somebody says, right, I want you to go and walk to Scotland, and I want you to start tomorrow, and you start walking, and we're in Leeds at the moment, and you only make it to Harrogate, which is about 14 miles away. So you didn't get to Scotland. Have you failed? Is that failure? It's not a trick question. Do you feel that's failure? Because you didn't make it to Scotland, but you made it 14 miles to Harrogate. Now, in my opinion, that isn't failure. Because you made it 14 miles towards your goal. So the only failure doesn't exist, but what does exist are different degrees of success. Now, if you set yourself that challenge to get 100 miles wherever, and then you made it 10 miles, then you haven't failed. You haven't been as successful as you intended to be, but your success is still a success nevertheless.
That's an interesting.
So it doesn't exist as a failure. It really doesn't. If I fly my aeroplane, and the first time I tried to do what they call a roll, and I went in to do this manoeuvre, and I pulled up and then did the roll, and I started and I thought, no, it doesn't feel right. I didn't do it. So then I think to myself, did I fail that? Well, no, I didn't fail that, because I did half the manoeuvre, realised that it didn't feel right, and I stopped the manoeuvre. So then I thought, okay, that wasn't failure. I only had a certain degree of success. I've got halfway and then corrected. So then I readdressed things, thinking, what did I do wrong? Why didn't I get to the final goal? And I realised what I'd done wrong. I'd not dived enough and I'd not pulled up enough. So the next attempt, I dived more, I pulled up more, and I spun the aircraft round. And it worked.
Interesting.
But the first time wasn't a failure. It was just a different degree of success.
I love that saying. I've never heard of that saying. Different degree of success.
I don't know whether anybody uses it. It's just what I think.
Different degrees. I love that.
There is no failure. Eradicate failure from your mind. It doesn't exist.
Because I think that's what can make people hesitate to start businesses and stuff, because they just envision all these failures that can happen and portray all these crazy ideas in their head, and that can be such a big issue.
Well, what's the worst thing that can happen?
That's the thing, is it's crazy how the mind can play on us, and how people then can get unravelled in that.
Things will happen worse in your mind than what can happen in reality. It's strange. If for example something goes totally bad with a business deal, is that total failure? No, I'll tell you what it is. It's a really valuable lesson.
It's lessons we're learning.
Yeah. I've lost fortunes of money with vintage jukeboxes, houses, and also lost fortunes of money. But was it a failure? No, it was a really good lesson, but it was an expensive lesson, but a lesson I'll never forget.
Fantastic.
So it was worth paying that money.
I love it. So yeah, treat your failures as learnings. They're not failure. Very interesting. Now we're going to go dive into more your story, and then obviously what you've just said, I'm sure, is going to interlink a lot of this. So maybe you want to just briefly sort of give a synopsis. I know your story is very big, but give a bit of a synopsis of your accident, what happened, because I was going to ask, what's the life lessons you learned from your accident?
Well, it's a big story, so I'll try and do it in brief. I lost my right arm at the age of 18 in a motocross accident. I was on the field, by the way. I wasn't on the road. I was doing rough scrambling, we used to call it back then. And I woke up in hospital minus an arm and minus all my acne, which I'd had from a young age. So that was great. I'd lost my acne, so that was a win-win solution, wasn't it? Really, it was brilliant. I mean, it didn't really matter so much that I'd lost an arm, because the acne had gone, and it was the start of a new life, and it was brilliant, a brilliant life. And I realised that every cloud has got a silver lining. It's the Chinese call it yin and yang. There's no good without bad. There's no evil without good, and there's no up without down. And it's every negative thing that happens in your life has got a positive outcome. You've just got to find it. You've got to see it and be prepared to see it. So mine had loads of positive outcomes. It meant that I couldn't be employed. I couldn't find work at the age of 18. I was retired and unemployable, and that was a good thing, because it meant I had to go out there and find my own work, and I employed myself, and I did really well. I was successful at work, and I never had to ask people to help me anymore. Give me some money, or will you give me a job? Will you give me this? I provided everything for myself, and I enjoyed that. And I enjoyed the feeling it gave me, that everything I'd created myself. And I created loads of things. I created a digital jukebox that revolutionised the digital jukebox industry. And that became £1 million product. And then I bought a load of housing and became a residential landlord. I then wanted to deal with some irrational fears. So I took horse riding lessons because I was afraid of horses. I now compete in dressage. And I was afraid of flying, so I took flying lessons with a prosthetic arm from the NHS that didn't work. So I got another prosthetic arm made by the NHS, and that didn't work. So I made my own prosthetic arm, and mine does work. And now I fly on a regular basis. And I've just started aerobatics training about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I've just been on the one show, and I'm quite. I do quite a lot, and I enjoy it.
Amazing, and I'm sure you can understand how inspirational Steve is just from hearing that. It just attack. It's outstanding just to hear that.
Just go for it. It's good fun.
Just go for it. It is, and I think you touched on it so strongly in there as well. Is how, because again, fear can direct us so much, and Sean mentioned it as well. And you just said, just go. Would that be your advice then to people who are?
Yeah, as long as it's not dangerous and not going to kill you and that type of thing, just try it, because the thing is. The thing with fear is they're always irrational, and we don't know why we're afraid of them. We're just afraid of them. I was afraid of horses because one had attacked me as a young boy, so I was just scared to death of them. And I thought the only way to conquer that fear really was to face that fear head on. It's actually called, like I mentioned earlier, it's called exposure therapy. That my friend told me. I didn't realise it was a proper clinical methodology, but it is. And it's just in exposing yourself to the things you're afraid of on a daily basis or a weekly basis or as often as you dare, and get a bit braver each time and a bit braver each time. And before you know it, you're no longer afraid of that thing. And then when you're not afraid of it, you might even find you really enjoy it.
There we go. What's the worst that can happen at the end of the day?
Imagine that turning your fears into pleasures. That's liberating.
It is liberating. That's what everyone at the end wants to do, because that's the scariest thing, is fear can direct us so much in life.
Yeah, it does. It certainly does.
And you can click your fingers and 10 years have gone because that fear has
kept you down. Held you back. Held you back so long.
I think one of the most terrifying things most people face. So that it comes down to just do it, and the outcome is going to be so worth it, because that buzz of just overcome it.
It's truly liberating, and the sense of achievement you've got afterwards is just is worth its weight in gold.
Absolutely, wow. Now I'm going to sort of finish off on a few interesting questions. This is an interesting question I like to ask everyone, is what are your top 3 tips on happiness in life, being happy in life?
On happiness, really do what you want to do and not what other people think you should do. A lot of people say, well, you should do this, you should do that. You get that a lot. You get people that are experts in everything and know nothing. And people will tell you, you can't do this, you can't do that. Never listen to anybody that tells you that you can't do something. Because if it's being done by somebody else, it can be done. If it's being made by somebody else, it can be made. So, never listen to others. Believe in yourself. You'll know what you're capable of doing.
Yeah, I think in yourself you do. I think sometimes our reasoning can trick us though, because obviously we might not fully believe in what we can do.
Well, that's self-doubt, and we've all got that. The only thing you can do is start on the journey and see where it takes you. And if you enjoy what you're doing, then you'll be determined, and then you'll eradicate self-doubt. And it's just, you've just got to try everything, and it's an interesting life if you're prepared to give everything a chance. Absolutely,
it is. Now this is one of these final questions, just a personal question for me. This is less involved sort of the inspirational part, but something I was hit by was how you spoke up there. Like, again, what I said is I go to a lot of public speaking events and I see a lot of different speakers and they can have amazing stories, but I just can't feel it because the way they talk, it's monotone, or they just preach it, whereas you made me feel what you were saying. Like, I felt emotional and I was blown away by that, and that's why I was just so enthralled in what your story was. What sort of tips would you have for, like, how have you mastered that public speaking of telling a story?
Well, first of all, enjoy what you're doing. It is a story, and if you remember when you was at school and somebody would be telling you a story at school, you'd get the teacher that would say blah 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 blah, and it was totally monotone and you'd fall asleep. And then you get the teacher that would come in and say, I was super excited, and he'd put like intonation into being excited. I felt really down, and he'd put intonation into it. Really, when we're talking on stage, I'm an entertainer, and I'm entertaining you for your benefit, really, not for mine. But I want you to be entertained as an audience, and I want you to enjoy the journey. I want you to feel the ups and the downs and the emotion. If I don't change my intonation in my voice, you won't feel any ups or any downs. You'll just feel monotone. So the whole idea is just enjoy what you're doing. But a friend told me a long time ago that if you're afraid of doing this type of thing, and I was afraid because I was trained as a DJ, and I was afraid of being a DJ.
Yeah.
And this mate of mine said to me, just pretend you're a DJ. So I went on my first job pretending I was a DJ, and it went brilliant. I had a fantastic night. I really enjoyed it. The nightclub I worked for loved it, offered me the job, and I worked there three nights a week for the next 3 years. And that was all because I pretended. So when I go and speak on stage or speak in the camera or wherever, I pretend that I'm a speaker. So I changed my persona really. And I am now the speaker, and I'm super confident, even though I may not be at times. You know, as long as I portray that I'm confident, everybody thinks I'm confident.
Interesting. And that ties straight back to our first question of building confidence, and even if you're not, you exude it, and then that is pretend.
Pretend you're confident, and eventually the confidence will come.
I love that. I love how it's come into a nice tight knit now, as it started off with that, and now we're finishing off on that. That's fantastic. Is there any last advice or tips you'd give to anyone that's maybe hesitant with changing something in their life or just starting something? Is there any last advice you'd leave them with?
Well, change is a good thing. A lot of people are afraid of change because they think, let's just do what we're doing like we've done all along and hope that it now starts to earn some money. But if it hasn't earned money and you're stuck in the same rut, then why not change? Change is good. Change is fun. You know, who knows what change might bring? It's brilliant. You know, it's a journey. It's a game, and it's all a bit of fun. You know, we know you've got to be serious with business, but you've got to enjoy it. If you're not going to enjoy it, you won't stick at it. And, you know, because obviously you always find a reason, well, I won't do it today because I don't want to do it. You know, it's all those self-doubts and the reasons, you know, that the obstacles you put in front of yourself. You know, definitely you must enjoy what you're doing and go out and do it as much as possible, and you'll be successful at it.
Absolutely love it. Thank you very much, Stephen.
You're welcome.
You very much. I really appreciate that.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you, Stephen. I really do appreciate it. I hope you gain good value from that. As you can see, his inspiration and motivation is just infectious. It really is. Like I said, it exudes, and it's really impacting me as well. So thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. As always, follow me on all social media. YouTube is @ScottMears, Twitter is @ScottMears_, and Facebook is @ScottMearsEntrepreneur. Until next time, guys, see you then. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.